Hey yo, what's up fuckers? It's Vanta. Finally getting around to a Motovlog. Oh, I should slow down. Already got enough speeding tickets as it is. But yeah, I've been off work for maybe 3 weeks already. I finally got my CompTIA A+ certification. So that is a huge relief because if you are up to date with what's going on with CompTIA or knew what happened in 2022 for CompTIA A+, the old CompTIA tests were being retired for the new ones in October. So, and you know, when I got into it, when I first heard about CompTIA through a friend, you know, I was like, oh, it's March, I got plenty of, you know, I got whatever. I didn't even know there was a time limit to these tests. And then, when I finally got around to looking into it, I was like, oh wow, like only got a handful of months to get this certification. Otherwise, I'm screwed. You know, I have to study for the new one. Yeah, you know, I just got busy studying. Studied really hard for it. But yeah, I studied really hard for it. And, you know, then I passed the first exam, no problem. But then the second exam, I went in after studying a bit, took the exam, and I was having trouble passing that one the first time. You know, I scored a 636. I was supposed to score 700 at the minimum. So I was like, wow, there goes $200. But yeah, I got a little more serious with it. Bought a few like practice exams at Dion through his Udemy courses. I restudied. You know, I went through the book with Professor Messer, did his practice exams, and then I bought like a few like cheap $15 ones, and yeah, you know, those all the combination of all of them, I got used to like using the command prompt and terminal, which is like the iOS equivalent and the Linux equivalent. Restudied what different ports go to where, to like what internet protocol, and yeah, I scored a 720 on the second try. A little nervous because you know, even the second time I took the exam, I'm like, whoa, there's still a lot of material where I'm not really too sure about, that wasn't really covered by Dion or Professor Messer, which was strange. You know, the first part of the exam, everything was covered by Professor Messer. And I thought, okay, I'm going to breeze through this certification. But then when I took the second exam, the 1002, I was like, whoa, like, what the fuck? Like, this is super in-depth. But, you know, I was able to, you know, brush up on those areas that I was missing on. But there were still some areas I'm like, well, I don't recall covering any objective that was like this. Like, but still, I scored well. There's people that scored 800. I'm like, how the fuck, dude? Like, I gave this thing all like 100%. You know, like, I was pretty positive about most of the answer. I'd say like 75% of the questions. Like, I was very positive that I got them right. But there was like that other 25%. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this wasn't even covered on anything through any of the other the teaching academies. Let's talk about that. You know, now that I got the A+ certification, I started applying on Indeed and ZipRecruiter, and I feel like I've had the most success with ZipRecruiter, or at least with people calling me back. Maybe with Indeed as well, but it just feel like I was getting a lot more rejections through Indeed. But both I use both websites, and I would recommend using both. I feel like if you're able to set up your profile really well in ZipRecruiter, you'll get a lot of good calls. Like, set up your profile picture. I use my art. It's like I did a digital painting of myself, so I use that as like my profile picture. So I'm pretty sure people are like, oh look, it's cute or it's intriguing. Let me look more into his profile, and they see my resume that I got a certification and all that stuff. As opposed to Indeed, there's no way you can actually set up a profile outside of just uploading your resume. So I feel like because of that, I was able to get more attention with Indeed, sorry, with ZipRecruiter. But yeah, and you know, I did my research of people trying to get into IT with the same certification, the same kind of experience. They're like, bro, they're saying I put in 150 applications and I only got one call back. And people are like, well, it's probably because of your resume. You know, it doesn't look good. And I was like, okay, let me look at my resumes. And when I did my research, you know, I was seeing what, because all the ZipRecruiter and Indeed, they're using some kind of software to filter out if you got the correct qualifications according to your resume. So I started looking at a lot of, you know, the first maybe 20 or 25 job applications on Indeed. I started writing down key points of what they're looking for. You know, they want to make sure you're familiar with Mac or Mac OS. They want to make sure you're familiar with Windows. If you got any experience with Linux, of course, don't lie. But you're like, okay, yeah, I can just confidently say I'm qualified in this. So you would write that down on my resume, because prior to the applications, I just put that I had a CompTIA A+ certification and just left it at that. And I was like, okay, let me start adding these things that were covered by the exam, that also are mentioned in these job postings, so that I get a better match. You know, like they want network troubleshooting, which I can confidently say, like, yes, I'm at least informed or educated on how to do that because of the CompTIA A+ certification. So I put that underneath the certification that, yes, I know how to network. I know how to use Windows. I know how to use Mac OS. I know how to use Linux. I know how to troubleshoot internet connectivity, malware, whatever, VM, you know, setting up virtual machines. So I just put that on my application. I started getting a lot more views on my applications, and I started getting calls like almost immediately after that. So if you're having trouble with IT, I recommend that. Start looking at what they're looking for. Put that on your resume. Of course, don't like tailor it specifically to just one application. Do like a handful, like 20 applications, because remember, there's thousands of listings out there for IT. Do like 20 applications. I write down the key points of like, oh yeah, I know that, like they want this. Put that in the resume. Put that underneath the CompTIA A+ certification, and you'll get better hits off of that. But still, even with that, I just went in with the assumption that I'd have like a 1% callback rate. So I put in about, I would say 200, 250 applications. And thank God, you know, for ZipRecruiter and Indeed, you know, it's pretty quick. You just click one button mostly, answer 1 or 2 questions, and it'll do the rest for you. I was able to do that. I wouldn't recommend wasting your time with like the actual, like if it takes you to an external website and fill out the application that way. Although I did have success that way as well, but still, I would just do that. Just do the one-click applications. Answer, of course, as truthfully as you can. Don't lie, because they're gonna ask about it, about why you put that. You gotta back it up. But yeah, I did that. I filled out the applications. You know, I updated my resume. Have a cover letter. That's a huge one too. The cover letter is an opportunity for the employer to get to know you, or for the hiring manager to get to know you. You know, it's not professional for you to put like your profile picture, like, or anything on your resume, or mention anything about like your ethnic background if you do have one, or your age. But you can sneak that in your cover letter, and it gives them a better idea of, oh, okay, this guy is this age, he works well with this. You know, you just want to give a bit of your personality, like what you like doing. You know, for my cover letter, I put down that, yes, I'm the youngest guy in my department, and I work very closely with other departments as well because of my expertise. I deal with a lot of different people and stuff, and tell them like your goals. Like, okay, like I'm just new to IT. Ideally, I would like to have a job that has the most amount of exposure to IT as possible, because there's some jobs where they just want you as like a help desk guy, not a help desk, but like maybe you're just in charge of this one software, which is good. I mean, it's a way to get into the industry, but like, is that really gonna, like, how much are you gonna learn from that? You know, like there's only so far you can go with just knowing one software. but still, it's a good thing. You got to work with the ticketing system and stuff. But yeah, that's what I put. I don't really know too much about like what I want to do with IT. I just know that I want to explore as much as I can with this single company. And because of that, I actually got a lot of callbacks. And of course, I was a little sassy on the cover letter. You know, I put down like, well, I highly doubt I'm gonna get a call back, but here's my cover letter. Hopefully it convinces you otherwise. I'm killer at job interviews. And because of that, I even got one recruiter who was like, "Whoa, like, dude, your cover letter was fucking hilarious." Like, and I was like, "Cool." And because of that, he's been able to hook me up with the position that pays $30 an hour for a big media company. But yeah, that's what I recommend. Update your resume, tailor it to like what they're generally looking for amongst like maybe 20 to 25 applications, and make a cover letter. That's a huge bonus. And of course, include your certification if you can. For example, like Indeed lets you upload, some employers will let you upload like supporting documents. So you can either put your cover letter and your CompTIA A+ certification through there, or you can just like copy and paste your cover letter onto like the blank for the cover letter, and then just upload the CompTIA A+ certification, just so you have proof, like you're not fucking around with these people. The last thing they want is like, oh, I got all these certifications and stuff. You're like, okay, where's the proof? Like, oh shit, you're actually checking. Which happens a lot with a lot of interviews, a lot of applications. People lie about their credentials. I think
speed check reported ahead.
Speed check, huh? Well, let's chill the fuck out then. Where's our speed checker at? But yeah, I got because of that, I put like maybe 250 applications, and I got maybe 5 or 6 calls back. And I got a couple scam ones too. If they want to have an interview through Telegram, fuck that. Just tell them go fuck yourself, and they won't reply back, because they're gonna ask for your banking information. I went through with one just to see like what exactly they're looking for, and they're gonna ask for your personal information. They even ask for your social and banking information. Of course, I gave them all bullshit like information. And then I got a text later that day after after that interview, like, oh, like through my bank or through the bank that I gave them, like, oh yeah, click this link. You're running low on funds now. We need you to deposit money now, so you don't get overcharge or overdraft fees. And I was like, go fuck yourself. Like, of course I double checked my bank just in case, in case they managed to like hack me or whatever. But still, like, I was like, that's pretty shitty. So yeah, if it's through Telegram, do not ignore it. But still, I got about 6 real applications, or sorry, 6 real callbacks. 2 of them are very, like, I would love to work with them. They're like they're an IT firm, so they offer IT services to other companies. So they set up their networks, their servers and such, and they manage them.
In 2 miles,
and they also offer like what? 2 miles? They also offer like website creation services and stuff. It's like, bro, that's what I love to do, or what I would love to look into. That's kind of what I would want to like expose myself to. There's another one that's close by to my house. It's a fashion store, or it's a fashion company for women, and they need IT people. And I asked them about, like, okay, what exactly are the IT people doing? Like, and they told me, like, okay, yeah, of course you're doing like checking the registers, making sure they're running correctly, or making sure like they're scanning software.
The right lane to take exit 29C toward Orange Ave.
But making sure the platform that they use is working correctly. I'm like, okay, that's it's good enough. It's good enough for me to start, and they're paying well. They're paying $22 an hour. I would love to take up that opportunity as well. And they said immediately, like, bro, you're gonna love these coworkers. You guys seem like you're a good match. I'm like, okay, that's good to hear. But yeah, I mean, that's what I have to recommend as someone with no experience, someone with just a CompTIA A plus to back up for my IT experience.
Use the right lane to take exit 29C toward
Granted, I
Orange
do work for a nice, you know, shiny organization at the moment, so that looks really good on my resume.
Avenue. Take the exit.
Oh, that just came up, huh? So that looks really nice.
Next
Every
stop
single
sign.
one has asked me, like,
Turn
oh yeah,
left.
how's it working? Or how is it working for them? Because it seems pretty nuts. I'm like, yeah, you know, they only want the best. But yeah, just
Then
bring a
turn left
positive
onto Orange
attitude.
Avenue.
You know, I don't think it's a bad idea to admit that, like, okay, like I don't really have like any professional IT experience outside of the certifications, but look, I want to learn as much as I can. You know, I'm here as a sponge. I'm here to absorb. I'm here to do the overtime. You know, I'm willing to put in the work to become an effective professional. So we'll see how this interview goes. I mean, I don't really want to take this position, but you know, it's better to have the interview or go through it. But yeah, good luck, you guys. Hope you the best when it comes to the IT stuff. Yeah. Peace the fuck out.